Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Kenya. We have arrived at another Froggy Friday, and we are so delighted that you have decided to pop in and share your life with us. I'm going to turn things over to Reverend Gwen to open us up for the day and get things cooking and tell you if anything's new on the agenda that we need to look at for announcements or anything.
Oh, let me see. What have we got magically cooked up? I feel a little mischievous today. I just feel kind of light and bright today, so watch out. Well, the big news is the virtual camp just ended today, right, Patrick? Several hours ago. And I understand it's a huge success. At one point, I knew that there was 24 kids. So that is tremendous. And they were doing lots of sharing, and I'm presuming the 3 days went that way. Maybe Patrick, well, I'll get you to jump in a minute here and you can share with us. We've got the What If Up class. It's on its last legs. It's on the last 2 classes. And Foundations is well on its way on the 3rd or 4th class. And the Spiritual Economics is brewing. So watch out. Journaling with the outstanding Valerie Wiener is starting on Tuesday, I believe.
No, we've had two.
Oh, you've already had two. Oh, I'm behind. I apologize.
Don't laugh. I'm the tech specialist. Poor Valerie.
Oh, that's worth it going to the class just to watch Karen. Anyways, it's just tremendous, all the things that are going on and percolating and yet to be. So always stay tuned. Michelle is a marvel at posting things and keeping things current. I hope you heard that, Michelle.
We appreciate you so much.
So yeah, there's lots of things going on, and there was something else I wanted to chat about, but it's not coming to me. So if it does by the end of the hour, I will pass it on. So let's get started. Let's get that out of the way, and we'll settle into who's doing the, is it Christopher?
Christopher is going to do our treatment, and then Karen's going to do our meditation. And if Nancy's not here, do you want to sing us into this which song is it? I've got 4 songs. I am opening.
Nancy's not singing it. I mean, Karen's not singing it, right? Because if she is,
gentle, gentle, kind.
I will sing you in, Karen. Never, and ignore Michelle.
Here we go. Away you go, Christopher.
Okay, let us all take a deep breath in. And as we settle in that breath, in that silence, I recognize that there is only one love, one life, one grace, one power, one infinite eternal presence. It's the presence that is at the back of everything. It's present everywhere, in everything, through everything, and as everything. It is also present here in our midst. And so as we are all seated here, waiting to share, to receive, to hear from the one mind, we remember that we are anchored in its love, embraced in its arms, enveloped by its eternal loving presence. And so we settle in, we relax in ease and peace. And so we know that as we continue to share and to learn and to hear from truth and wisdom, we know and we remember that we are being expanded in our consciousness. We know that we are growing in everything that is good. And so every illusion is being peeled off to reveal the true nature of us, of our being, which is divinity. And so we relax into it, we embrace it, we open our arms as we receive it, and we say yes to it. We say yes because we know that it's good and it's perfect, and so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is.
I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know.
And we settle in right here and right now, knowing this is the perfect place, the perfect time, surrounded with friends, community, family. In fact, surrounding the world in the consciousness that God is all there is. And we breathe right here in gratitude. And breathe again. Opening our hearts to the very presence of all that is. And having turned within, we know together love, infinite abundance, the perfection of God and creation. And we breathe and turn into this service, knowing that it is filled with light, life, love, and laughter. And we are so grateful, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you
So it
so
is.
much. Taking a beautiful, beautiful breath.
Well, let's go to our opening song that we always sing every week, and it's our own personal spiritual community song that we have embraced. Barb, will you take it away?
My joy. We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within us all. We are a part of one another, born to love each other. When it's all said and done, we are one, Reverend Gwen.
We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within us all. We are a part of one another. We're born to love each other. When it's all said and done, we are one.
We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within us all. We are a part of one another. We're born to love each other. When it's all said and done, we are one. When it's all said and done. Let me see the spirit fingers. Say it with me. We are
Where are they? Where are they?
One. Oh,
Well,
beautiful.
everyone, it is my joy to introduce my co-spiritual leader, Reverend Barb Samuel, to deliver this morning's message, this evening's message.
Oh, thank you, Reverend
Welcome,
Gwen.
Barb.
Good morning, good day, good evening, everybody. So good to be here with everyone. Hey, do you know that CSL Kenya is one of many centers across the globe? I know you know. And that this center is part of something bigger than even itself. Yes, it is a living idea in the mind of God, but it's also part of an organization that celebrates, embraces, and accepts all people. That's you. And every month we have themes. And the theme for the month of April is giant gentleness. This month reminds us to allow our gentleness to reveal our giant selves. And it's in that we find in those flashes when we are conscious of our oneness. And in that conscious space, there is an openness and an all-encompassing love. And we know it and we recognize it as that gentle giantness, that giant gentleness. And in all other moments in our lives, we recognize it when we need it and really deserve that giant gentleness. So today, we remember that gentleness is a powerful, powerful thing. And that giant gentleness opens us up to who we say we want to be. And it lets all the moments of our lives be sacred and holy, and not even the not so great moments. I'm just going to tell you, all moments, not just the good, but the not so good too. And I want you to know that right now, just by being together in community and celebrating ourselves with each other, that we are already expanding our awareness of what we're calling that giant gentleness. And how do we begin that awareness? Well, we know that it's starting, of course, with ourselves. We acknowledge how we can allow those moments to be for our highest and best. Friends, we're moving beyond judgment and we're beginning to embrace active compassion in our relationships with others. And we're going to get into that active compassion a little bit later in a moment. But briefly, it's when we breathe gentleness into our communities, all of our activities, if you can believe it, even our politics. I know, even our politics. And when we do this, finally, this is when we celebrate the moments of embodying the giant and continuing the journey. And if you know me, and many of you do, I always say gentle, gentle. And I always say it twice There's something in that second gentle that grounds me. Just say gentle, gentle. Say it out loud. Gentle, gentle.
Gentle, gentle.
And there's just something in that that awakens us and grounds us. And today I want to focus on what I truly believe to be true. And that's this, that we are reflections of each other. And as we cultivate gentleness for ourselves, I believe that we begin to recognize love expressing itself as the others, the other people in our lives. It's like the song, so I said to Reverend Gwen, I've got a million songs in my head right now, and now I can't remember this one. There is only one of us. In your eyes, it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection. There is only one. So today, I invite you to recognize all of that. All of your relationships are love in form. I know people are lovely when they are kind, loving, and just how and what you want them to be and how you want them to act and behave. And they're also strange and fickle and opinionated and sometimes judgmental. We just can't help ourselves. We're human. And that's when everything gets a little messy, right? And when things get a little messy, that's when we want to blame others for the things going wrong, when in fact, it's our judgment of others that are truly getting in the way. And as you begin to apply gentleness to your interactions, to your relationships with others, you can truly allow them to be their gentle selves. And it's from that place that we both can make clear decisions for our own lives. Yes? The truth is, we are only one. We just sung about it. We write about it. We talk about it. We teach about it. We think about it. We are one in energy in a myriad of forms, individualized expressions of the divine. We are all of it. There is Gwen, there is Michelle, then there is Najiri, there is Christine, there is Patrick, there is all of us, each and every one of us in this sacred and holy space. And the other person, place, or thing that we're experiencing is nothing else other than the expression of love itself. Take that in. It's all love, and we're all one. And because we have learned that no one and no thing is against us, it all simply is. Breathe. Whew. Ernest Holmes said, when we let the love that is within us go out to the God who is in all people, I love that, to the God who is in all people, then we are loving God with all of our heart and with all of our soul and mind, because we are recognizing that the spirit within us is the same spirit that we meet in others. This is loving our neighbors as ourselves. It's one of the 10 commandments. It's from the Bible. So when you say to me, or when anybody says to me, Barb, Ref Barb, you're so lovely, I say, thank you. We are mirrors. When people say to me, Barb, you're so happy, I say, thank you. We must be mirrors. And when people say you're beautiful, I say, thank you. We are mirrors. And the same goes when people have said to me, you're ugly, you're angry, you're not enough, you're this, you're that. I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are mirrors. When anybody says anything to me, I recognize that what I see, what they see in me is what they must be seeing in themselves, and vice versa. And since I want goodness in my life, why would I go looking for anything other than what I'm longing to be, right? Our relationships with others can be, they can be challenging, and they can challenge the very foundation of our beliefs, of our principles. And people can be so erratic and unpredictable, right, Michelle? That's why we have to stay grounded and know exactly who we are. I'm not saying that because she's unpredictable and erratic. Friends, we are mirrors. This teaching says that our relationships are a mirror of our own ideas, our own beliefs, and our own judgments. And the only place from which you can begin to interact with others is by knowing that this can look just like you. Being angry or hurt based on the action or words of another individual, this is part of the human experience. But what if, not so much about what they did or what they said, as to how you feel about it or react to it? Because stuff happens in life. In my life, I've been cheated, stolen from, lied to, abused, abandoned. The list goes on and on and on. Let's be clear. What happened to me is not my fault. If you resonated with any of that list that I just said that happened to me, and or fill in the blanks with your own life experiences, what happened to me, to us, friends, it's not our fault. But what you do with it after, that is our responsibility. It's all on us. Don't forget, you are the creative genius of your life. And with this awareness and with this gentleness that you're now beginning to cultivate, you get to redefine any aspect of your life at any time. Press reset. Don't even bother beating yourself up for previous bad relationships or experiences. We can start fresh now and claim them as useful for recognizing the awesomeness that we are. The more you love yourself and who you are, the more that love shows up in your relationship with others. Yeah. So now you begin to recognize that you are the proof, the evidence that love exists. And your relationships are proof that you love you. You know that song, I love myself so much, that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, and you can start loving me. That's what I'm talking about. When we love ourselves, we allow ourselves to be loved. When I said earlier that we're going to come back to active compassion, I said this to Karen when we were having a conversation when nobody else was on today. I choose to believe that people are always doing their best. I choose to believe it. And that they are innately sacred and holy. It's just sometimes these are hard lessons and they may be difficult to agree with. But when we apply, when we give compassion to ourselves, while we may not like what we did or said, we can comprehend that being part of human is to make mistakes. Gentle, 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 gentle. Active compassion for others leads to a deeper understanding of this truth, friends. And compassion doesn't mean that that people get free rein to do whatever and however they want to do it. It also doesn't mean that you always have to have a full understanding of why people do what they do or how they are. Every person, everywhere, everybody, mine, yours, we all have an unknown story. Who has, those stories may have brought us trauma or tragedy. We don't even know some of the things. We couldn't even imagine some of the things. We have created a life and function, how we function based on that history. I know that I have had tools that have allowed me to get through certain things. And when I get to a certain spot, those tools no longer serve me like they used to serve me. You know what I'm saying? The Dalai Lama said, the moment you develop a sense of concern for others, that's the moment when you realize that just like ourselves, they also want happiness. They also want satisfaction. Don't we just want our children to be happy and safe? That's what everybody wants. That's what we want, is satisfaction and happiness. And active compassion, when we decide to do it, requires focus and intention. And when your intention is to let people in your life be themselves and to love them for who we are, and then when you are gentle with the reminders to them, you are gentle to yourself. So I want to invite you to have a sense of giving space in your relationships. You know, become the observer. Look from that 360-degree view as though you were at the top of some high building. When you become the observer, the situation, the circumstance, the world looks a lot different. And it gives you a different perspective, often what we need in our life and our relationships. And so I have found that when I'm too close, sometimes things can get muddled and confusing when I'm in it. And that loving and respecting ourselves means that I need to get clearer on what's working and what doesn't work. Loving and respecting ourselves gives us space to figure things out when we're not clear. And taking our feelings, I love this philosophy, the science of mind, because it has taught me how to meditate. It has taught me how to do treatment. It has taught me how to contemplate. So when I take my feelings into meditation, contemplation, and treatment, it gives me that space. I've also found that reaching out to a practitioner for a session and counseling are invaluable. I cannot put enough weight on the support that you can receive from a practitioner holding that high watch from you. I've also found that journaling is a great and valuable option to gain clarity. Do you do some of these things or all of these things? I find that, and I'll speak for myself, we tend to take our lives and ourselves a little too seriously and too far sometimes, don't we? And what I have found for me, what often results from taking space, becoming the observer, is that I come to that realization that I may have taken something personally, and that the person in question is actually just human, just like me. Here comes that sweet compassion. And sometimes, for whatever reason, I got swayed or pulled into the chaos or the confusion. But when you go back into those spaces and you ground yourself, you realize who you are. You remember who and whose you are. Friends, I also want to tell you that sometimes, for whatever reason, it might be time to love someone from a distance. From a distance, you look like my friend. To actually give yourself physical space and distance from the others, from the other, who are still just one. While we are indeed one energy, we are humans as individualized expressions. And giving ourselves space and time to figure out what is right for us is one of the healthiest and gentlest things that we can do for ourselves, and believe it or not, for others in our life as well. Spiritual family member, continuing to build your giant of gentleness is not exclusively independent of other people. In fact, we're never alone, never alone. Being in relationship with others provides some of the most rewarding and exhilarating experiences in life. And they can also be downright tedious and frustrating. But some of my biggest ahas have come from relationships where at the moment while I was living in them seemed unbearable. And looking back, they were my greatest teachers and the greatest opportunities and lessons for me to grow into who I am today. It's true. And recognizing our oneness with each other gives us introspection, and awareness of our own judgments and how that is reflected in our relationships. Loving ourselves is loving others, and loving others is loving ourselves. Reaching for the outpouring of the divine givingness, allowing it to wash over us in active compassion, allows our beloveds and all of those around us to be themselves. It also gives the space that we need to find our own balance, like I said, and our own perspective. So here's what I know. All relationships are sacred and holy. And this gentleness is in how we see those around us as well as ourselves. And this gentleness is constantly expanding and growing, and practicing that expansion and that growth keeps it alive for us to send out subtle reminders to everyone, everywhere, all around the world. So let's keep that gentle energy going and growing. So how do you do it? To summarize how to do it: compassion and caring. Those are the ties that bind us together in mutual understanding and in the unified attempt to uncover the divinity in each other. Holmes said, compassion is the most gentle. Compassion is the most gentle of all human virtues. It is the outpouring of the divine givingness through all. And he also said, love is kind, gentle, and understanding. It is tolerant of others, and it reaches back through indifference and the coldness that life can sometimes bring to something warm and pulsating that is at the very center of everything. None of us, all the time, although we are perfect, none of us all the time is as perfect an expression as we ought to be. So the challenge to each of us is to be great enough to rise in love, to rise in givingness through understanding and compassion. And when we let the love that is within us go out to the God who is in all people, who is everyone, then we are loving God with all our heart and with all of our soul and our mind, because we are recognizing that the spirit within us is the same spirit that we meet in others. And this is loving our neighbors as ourselves. Remember, friends, we are reflections of each other. I love us. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Barb. Thank you. It's funny because this has come up a few times in my week this week about the reflections, and so this has just been the grand finale of my week. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you for receiving me.
Yeah. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite Nancy. I don't think James is here, but Nancy and Patrick, if you'd unmute and maybe just share a few minutes of the highlights of the teen camp. That would be just really beautiful. We had a virtual teen camp this week for 3 days. I don't know how many hours in the day it was, but they had a great turnout, and let's hear how they responded. 6 hours? Wow. Oh, that's like a marathon, you guys. Way to go.
Wow.
So unmute Patrick and Nancy. Can you please share and give us the highlights, please? It's very exciting.
I think, okay. I think Nancy should go first, then I can comment after that. She was the group leader. So I volunteer her to start.
She might be stirring the ugali, so you might have to start.
All right, so there she is. She has unmuted, but let me just go. I think it was my third camp, a visual camp. It's quite interesting, particularly when like now, when we are all connected here, Some are in Canada, some in Africa, some places in Africa, some in the US, and then the magic of connection through the internet. That's quite interesting, and you could see it in the eyes of the kids as, you know, some were sharing screen because maybe they only had maybe a phone or one computer, and then you could see them crammed and trying to look and see the other side who is talking to them and so on. But as far as learning, I could see there was a lot of participation, although sometimes we had to force some of them to speak, maybe out of what, anxiety, or having forgotten some of the topics we had done before. But there was a lot of excitement and interest and looking forward, because one interesting thing is that I think Gwen mentioned when I came to this meeting today, you commented that I am usually early or in time, but I was going there in time and finding them already there waiting. At least some of them. At least some of them. Although for some others we had to wait for some time. But there was a lot of participation, but you could see difference between the kids, for example, from Nairobi and kids from Kisumu and Kisii. Although you could some in Kisii and Kisumu, you could see they are up to date and so on. But there are some areas where you'd see I noticed that perhaps, I don't know, it's because of exposure and so on. Nairobi kids were a bit more, although they were about 3 or 4, you could see they were more advanced, I should say, or more knowledgeable. But they were all good, and they were all looking forward to August. They really wanted to know what's happening in December, but Nancy puts them off and told them, you come in August and you'll find out. So it was quite interesting, and I didn't realize. I think Michelle mentioned it was 6 hours. I didn't realize it was that long, because suddenly we start at 10, suddenly it's 4 o'clock. Suddenly it's lunchtime, then it's suddenly 4 o'clock, and wow. Those 6 hours of fun, you know, fully packed fun, and a lot of learning and laughing, because some of them were a bit cheeky, particularly from Harambee, but then we managed to control them. So thank you very much. And I think now Nancy can speak.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. 6 hours. That's a long time to Zoom. You did well when it was, and a statement of that is with the time flying by.
The advantage we had as teachers is because we were, you know, we were going in turns. Like Nancy would start, and then an hour later I would take over. Then James would take over and so on. But the kids had to stick there and watch us and listen.
Beautiful work. Beautiful. I always say, Whitney Houston said, I believe that children are our future. You guys are doing it. Way to go.
Miss Nancy.
Yes, it's interesting that Patrick, you mentioned, because in the little screens, some of the children don't realize that we are seeing them and we are seeing everything that they're doing. So they get cheeky and we'd call them out, especially the ones that were in large groups. But the most beautiful thing that I observed with the teens is their patience. You could see them being very patient with the ones who are a little bit slower on getting something, and they would just sit and give them an opportunity to explain themselves, and we would go over and over until they kind of like got what we were talking about. And that was really beautiful. It was a good spirit. And yes, participation was top notch. Of course, Wednesday, we started a bit slow, but by today, I am sure at 4 o'clock, they didn't want to leave. So it was exciting. We didn't have as much music and dance as we would have wanted. I think that works better when it's physical. So yeah, they're rooting for December. They all want to come to camp.
I love that you put them off and said you have to come to August 1st.
Yes, yes.
You have to
Yes,
get
but
their
it was
merit
beautiful.
first.
It was, yes, yeah. It was a good experience, I believe, even for them and for us as teachers also. And also most of the children, actually like only 2 were new. The rest of them, we have interacted with them before, and you can see that it's building up, you know, the expansion of consciousness, it's building up from where we started. We are moving on, there is progress. Yeah, thank you.
Wow. Wow.
you.
Thank you so much. Patrick,
Michelle wants to
Nancy, and
say
James,
something.
thanks for doing like 18 hours with the kids. That's amazing. And it's tough to keep the energy and the enthusiasm on, you know, when you're on a Zoom call, but you did it for 6 hours a day and they came back. So excellent. Beautiful work. Beautiful. Good God's work.
And what's exciting is that the kids want to come to winter camp despite being rained out for 2 days. Like last time, that's what they did. Dried
Wow.
sleeping bags. So it is a huge testament to the work that's being done by our Kenyan teachers, right?
Mhm.
That
I agree. Rock stars. Wow.
Bravo.
Wow.
Bravo. And thank you for sharing. It's perfect because you just ended today and now we have Froggy Friday to share it on, and you can sort of let the whole community know how much just great connection, great participation, great material. We've all got out
And
there. And we can
Reverend
do more.
Gwen's going to be there in December for the next, well, after August. Reverend Gwen's planning on coming.
Yes, yes. Hopefully I can keep up. Okay, okay. Reverend Barr, would you do the offertory, please?
Oh, sure. It would be my joy. Let me share our screen. I'm just loving us, you guys. This is a beautiful day. So this is the opportunity where we have to give where we get. We get our spiritual nourishment. We get fed and filled up on Froggy Fridays. We get the information that our youth and our teens and our babies are growing and transforming this world. And this is the life that we are living and choosing to live. So this is an opportunity for you to repeat some affirmations after me. If you're in North America, you can go to cslkenya.org and you can donate. If you are in Kenya, Nancy will post the M-Pesa account that you can give your love offerings to. And I want you to know that 100% of everything that you give, that you share, that you are, that energy that you bring goes right back into you, right through our center. And so unmute, everybody unmute. And I'm going to repeat these lines and I would like you to say them after me. Unmute, unmute, unmute. I am filled with the energy of abundance.
I am filled
With
energy and abundance.
I am willing to share my financial good with my spiritual community.
I am
I'm
willing
willing
to
to
share my
financial good with
my spiritual
spiritual community.
And so it is.
And
And
so
so
it
So
is.
it is. Is there
Is there
anybody
anybody-
that is in, oh, sorry. Is there
You go
anybody
ahead.
that is in need of a spiritual mind treatment? It's, we'll put you into a breakout room. You'll have confidentiality and you'll be with a licensed practitioner who is a spiritual coach who will know the truth for you. And it could be even more, even if you're having a great life, maybe it's more bliss. Whatever you want, just have that time with the spiritual coach. So
You
put
could
up
just
your
raise
hands.
your
We've got coaches available. Who would like a spiritual mind treatment and some one-on-one time with a
Well, look
practitioner?
how blessed we are. Everybody is just solid and wonderful and amazing. Nancy, thank you for sharing that M-Pesa number. So this is our opportunity to say Froggy Friday happens again in 2 more weeks. So mark your calendars now. We'd love to see you on the hour, 8 p.m. And we begin to share life and love and community. So take those things, the gentle giant with you, the giant gentleness, take them both with you and use them to the fullest and highest. Reverend Gwen and I love you. We adore you. We treasure you. We value you. We see you. We thank you. Abundant blessings, everyone. I'll stop the recording.
Take care. I know that the